Yo, today we're gonna rank the best and the worst map for each of the heroes separately. But before we're gonna start, we just have to understand the different modes. Domination, convoy, and convergence modes. Because this is really important for later understanding why a hero is better on some modes, maybe, or on some maps. So the first one would be domination. So as you can see, domination is where you have to capture a certain point to a certain extent, as you know. The second one is convoy. Yeah, it's quite straightforward. You just have to push the cart till the end. The last one is convergence. So it's a mix between both. You first capture the points and then you get a convoy, which you have to push till the last point. So now with this understanding, we can go back. So we are gonna start first with Captain America. Here on the left side we have the different win rate stats currently. So this will be quite interesting. So let's start. Captain America. Captain America seems to do quite well on the convoy maps in general. Maybe he's just doing in the game mode, he's better there. But his best map is Midtown. And the worst map, yeah, I mean the worst map currently is the new one, Central Park. Maybe just because it's new. Yeah, next up is Doctor Strange. It's also quite interesting. His preferred mode would also be Convoy, as we can see from the win rate itself. His best map is Spider Islands, and his worst map is Hall of Jalla. Next up we have Groot. Yeah, Groot seems more map dependent than mode dependent, as we can see. Yeah, there's some outliers in each of the modes, so it's more map specific. It makes sense because of his walls. So his best map currently would be Shin Shibuya, yeah, and his worst map is Burning Chala. Next up we have Hulk. Yeah, he seems way better on convoy and domination modes. So by far his worst map to play is Symbiotic Surface. And his best map is close, but it's Yggdrasil Path. Next up we have Magneto. Yeah, his win rate seemed quite stable across all the modes and maps. His worst performing map currently is Central Park, so the new one. Maybe because it's new, so then most people didn't really know how to play it. And his best map currently, not by much, but it's Yggdrasil Path. So that just goes to show that he seems to be quite reliable on his own and is not really map dependent. Next up we have Penny Parker. This is quite interesting. We can see on some maps she has a really high win rate and some maps not so much. So by far the worst map to play Penny Parker on is Hell's Heaven, and her best map by far is Symbiotic Surface. Next up we have the Thing. This will be quite interesting. Yes, he also seems to be on some maps just way better than others. Not really mode dependent, more map dependent, as we can see. Yeah, currently it's quite close, but his best map would be Hell's Heaven. And his worst performing map, by quite a lot actually, is Hall of Jella. Yeah, next up we have Thor. Thor seems to be better on like domination and convoy modes. I mean, with some outliers. Yeah, but his best win rate would currently be on Burning Chala, and his worst map is Central Park. Also, maybe because just it's new. Yeah, next up is Venom, the last Vanguard. It's also quite interesting. Maybe we can say that Venom is in general better in convoy modes because his win rate here is way better than the others. But his best map is Yggdrasil Path, and his worst performing map by quite a lot is Hell's Heaven. Now next up we have the Duelists. So we start with Black Panther. Yeah, he seems to be best like on the convoy maps currently. So by far his best map is Spider Islands. And his worst performing map currently is Hall of Jalla. Yeah, next up we have Black Widow. Not the best win rates. Yeah, but we can see there's still quite some differences in the maps. Yeah, for example, Central Park is by far her worst win rate, even below 40%. And her best map, also by quite a long shot, is Burning Challa. Next up we have Hawkeye. Yeah, he also seems to be more like map dependent, because it's not really mode dependent on the win rates itself, it seems. Yes, his best win rates, his best map would be Midtown. His worst map would be Central Park, so the new one. Also maybe because it's the newest. Next up we have Hela. Well, this is quite interesting. On some maps or modes she seems quite balanced, but on others there's quite some differences. For example, Shin Shibuya is by far her best map to play on, and her worst map would be Hall of Jalla. Next up we have Human Torch. This doesn't surprise me, because of his abilities is really map dependent, I thought always, and we can see quite well here. On some maps he's way better than others. So his best map currently is Royal Palace, and his worst map is Shin Shibuya by quite a lot. Next up we have Iron Fist. Yeah, he seems to be quite good across all the maps and ranks. His best map is Hell's Heaven, and his worst performing map is Symbiotic Surface. Next up we have Iron Man. Yeah, he seems to perform better on the domination modes. So his best map currently is Burning Chala, and his worst map by quite a lot actually is Shin Shibuya. Next up we have Magic. Her win rate is also really great across all the maps, but she seems especially to dominate on domination and convoy modes. So her best map currently is Burning Chala. Her worst performing map is Hall of Jalia. Next up we have Mr. Fantastic. He also seems quite map dependent, as we can see. So by far his best map is Hell's Heaven, and his worst performing map also by quite a lot is Symbiotic Surface. And next up we have Moon Knight. Yeah, Moon Knight seems to perform in general better on convoy modes, as we can see. But yeah, his best map currently is Yggdrasil Path, and his worst performing map by quite a bit is Royal Palace. Yeah, next up we have Namor. Yeah, he also seems quite balanced across the modes and maps. Yeah, his best performing map would be Symbiotic Surface. His worst performing map currently is Hell's Heaven. Yeah, next up we have Psylocke. Yeah, Psylocke seems to perform better on domination convoy modes, as we can see. Her best map is Yggdrasil Path, and her worst performing map is Hall of Jalia. Next up we have Scarlet Witch. Her best performing map is Yggdrasil Path, and her worst performing map is Burning Chala. Next up we have Spider-Man. He seems way better on convoy maps. Yeah, his best performing map is Spider Island, and his worst performing map is Burning Chala. Next up we have Squirrel Girl. Yeah, also in general not the best win rates. And she seems like she's also really map dependent, not really mode dependent. As we can see, the best win rate currently is on Symbiotic Surface, and her worst performing map is Burning Challa. Next up we have Star-Lord. His win rate seems better on the mode Domination, especially these two maps. So his best map, not by much, but it's Royal Palace. And his worst performing map by quite a lot is Symbiotic Surface. Next up we have Storm. Really great win rates in general. Yeah, she seems especially good on the convoy maps. So her best performing map is Yggdrasil Path. And her worst map by quite a lot actually is Shin Shibuya. Next up we have the Punisher. Yeah, he seems to be in general better in domination modes. So his best performing map is Hell's Heaven. And his worst performing map is Yggdrasil Path. Next up we have Winter Soldier. He also seems quite balanced across the modes and maps, with one really exception, and that's Midtown. So this is his best map by far. And his worst map is Hall of Chalia. So the last duelist, Wolverine. Yeah, he seems way more map dependent, as we can see. Differences. Yeah, his best map is Spider Islands by quite a lot, and his worst map, only negative win rate, also with quite a lot of difference, is Hall of Chalia. Next up we have the Strategists. So we start with Adam Warlock. Well, this is quite interesting. He seems way better, especially on two maps from Domination. So by far his best map is Burning Challa. And his worst performing map is Hall of Chalia. Next up we have Cloak and Dagger. Well, she also seems to perform better on the convoy maps in general, as we can see from the win rates. Especially Spider Islands, her best map. And her worst performing map is Shin Shibuya. Next up we have Invisible Woman. As we can see, also the convoy modes suit her better in terms of win rate. Again with Spider Island as her best win rate map. And her worst map is Shin Shibuya. Next up we have Jeff the Land Shark. Yeah, he's really map dependent because of his ult. We can see his best map will also be Spider Islands. And his worst performing map is Symbiotic Surface. Next up we have Loki. Yeah, Loki is also quite map dependent, as we can see the differences. Mostly, the more high ground there is, the better for him. His best map currently is Royal Palace. And his worst map is Symbiotic Surface. Next up we have Luna Snow. I mean, in general, she seems better on convoy and domination modes, but not by much. Her best performing map would be Hell's Heaven. And her worst performing map, probably because it's new, it's Central Park. Next up we have Mantis. All this is quite interesting. Yeah, she seems to be better on like domination modes in general. So by far her best map would be Burning Challa. And her worst performing map would be Spider Islands. So the last one, Rocket Raccoon. Also his win rate seemed quite stable across all the maps, across all the modes. His worst performing map is also Central Park. And his best performing map would be Hell's Heaven. this is it for all the best and worst maps for each of the heroes. I hope you now have a broader view on how big the difference of a map can make. And yeah, all the information you can get, I will link it, you can get on Rivalsmeta, so you can change also. And yeah, another big thing is that this is the win rate across all the ranks. So this could differ, like depending on the rank you are. And yeah, I hope this helped you, and thanks for watching.